Manchester United, you know the name, right? One of the biggest football clubs on the planet. We're talking millions of fans worldwide, from Manchester to Mumbai. This club is steeped in history, with legendary players like George Best, Bobby Charlton, and more recently, the likes of David Beckham and Wayne Rooney. For many, Manchester United is more than just a team. It's a way of life, a source of immense pride and passion. But behind the trophies and the global fan base, there's a story of ownership debt and fan unrest that's been brewing for almost 2 decades. It all started with the Glazer family, American businessmen who saw a business opportunity in the heart of English football. Their arrival in 2005 marked the beginning of a new and often tumultuous chapter in Manchester United's history. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the Glazers' takeover, let's talk about this thing called a leveraged buyout. Sounds complicated, right? Don't worry, it's simpler than you might think. Imagine you want to buy a house, but you don't have all the cash. So, you borrow most of the money from a bank, using the house itself as collateral. That's basically a leveraged buyout. You're using a lot of debt to buy something, hoping that it'll generate enough money in the future to pay off that debt. In the world of business, this is a pretty common tactic. But when it comes to football clubs, it's a different ballgame altogether. Fans worry that this focus on debt and repayment might overshadow the club's primary objective, winning trophies. And that's exactly what happened with Manchester United. The Glazers, already owners of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, an American football team, saw an opportunity in Manchester United. They initiated a leveraged buyout, borrowing heavily to purchase the club. The final price tag? A whopping £790 million. This instantly made Manchester United one of the most indebted clubs in world football. See, the Glazers didn't put up much of their own cash. They used the club's assets and future earnings as leverage to secure the loans. This move immediately sparked outrage amongst the fans. Many saw it as a hostile takeover, with the Glazers prioritizing profits over the club's legacy and the fans' interests. Protests erupted, with fans voicing their anger against the new ownership. Little did they know this was just the tip of the iceberg. Section 4. Living in debt. The impact of the Glazers' ownership. Since the takeover, Manchester United's debt has been a constant source of frustration for fans. Every year, a significant chunk of the club's revenue is funneled towards servicing this debt, instead of being reinvested in players or infrastructure. This has led to accusations that the Glazers are bleeding the club dry. On the pitch, the club initially enjoyed success, but the last decade has seen a decline in performance. The lack of investment in the squad, coupled with questionable managerial appointments, has left fans yearning for the glory days. The Glazers' ownership has cast a long shadow over Old Trafford, and the relationship between the owners and the fans remains strained. Section 5. A club of our own, the birth of FC United of Manchester. The Glazers' takeover wasn't just about finances, it was about the very soul of Manchester United. Fans felt alienated, their voices drowned out by the clinking of coins. This discontent led to a remarkable event, the birth of FC United of Manchester. Formed in 2005 by disgruntled Manchester United supporters, FC United embodied a powerful message. Football clubs should be owned by the fans, for the fans. They started from scratch, climbing the football pyramid while staying true to their principles of community ownership and affordable ticket prices. FC United became a living, breathing protest against the commercialization of football. Section 6. Love, hate, and protests. The Glazers' legacy. Fast forward to today, the Glazers' ownership remains a contentious issue. While they've overseen some commercial success, the club's on-field performance and the burden of debt continue to be major concerns. Protests, banners, and chants against the Glazers have become a regular feature at Old Trafford, a clear indication that fan resentment hasn't faded. The Glazers' story is a cautionary tale of modern football, highlighting the complexities of ownership, fan emotions, and the fine line between business and sport. It's a story that's still being written, and the final chapter is yet to be penned.